What's going YouTube? Hope everyone's had a great week so far. Thanks for following along these XFL, team previews. XFL season as of this recording today is only 12 days away. Getting excited for that Saturday first set of games. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell button. We'll definitely be doing some game previews beforehand, maybe talking about some betting odds for those of us who live in states where sports gambling is legal. Doing a little post game reaction, maybe some live streams. Still trying to figure all that out. But definitely keep watching the videos. Let us know if there's anything you want us to cover. Today we're going to be talking about the Arlington Renegades. Before I pull up the roster that I'll be showing of the team and talk about the team, most of this information I have about the rosters is from this Twitter account name at XFL Analyst. I'll link them in the description below. Super great account, recommended as a follow, constantly giving updating their roster. You'll see the interface and the way they have it broken out is really useful as well. Great follow on Twitter, always posting about transactions. So encourage you guys to give them a follow. So let's get into the Arlington Renegades, formerly the Dallas Renegades. I'm not sure why they moved to Arlington, but doesn't seem to be a huge swing. I know they're pretty close. Head coach, we'll get into Bob Stoops, one of the bigger names in the XFL this year. He coached also for the Dallas Renegades last year, who I am completely blanking on their quarterback, but their quarterback was an NFL guy. Hold on. Dallas Landry Jones. Don't even need it. Landry Jones was their quarterback with Bob Stoops, who had that really bad injury. I think he tore his ACL, something nasty. Um, so Bob Stoops was 2-3 with the Dallas Renegades. I think if they had stayed healthy, and obviously the season got shut down, so who knows? But pretty successful coaches, won national championship. You can see at Oklahoma, won a bunch of Big 12, then Big 12 titles. Coached at Oklahoma in the interim at 2020 in 2021, which I forgot about. Big time coach, pretty high scoring offense. I think I was reading they put up, I think one year they averaged like 51 points a game. And the Big 12 in general is not known to its defense, so I'm not the most defensively minded coach, it doesn't seem. But big name, knows I think clearly has proven that he can coach at a pretty high level for 20 years. So I think it's a great hire. He's played in this league before, so he kind of knows some of those challenges, like even just getting through camp and all that, I think is a challenge in these leagues, and I think that'll help them. Go to the roster real quick. Drew Plitt. I did not like their quarterback room beforehand. I didn't love their backup, but I like Kyle Sloter a lot. So those who don't know, been around the NFL a little bit. You can see a bunch of all practice squad, maybe active roster for a little bit, but not a lot of. No, I don't think any NFL attempts in the regular season. US fans of this channel might know him from the New Orleans Breakers. He was all USFL. His stats, you could see 9 TDs, 11 interceptions. I think he got hurt his elbow like midway through the year. Or like something. So he started really well, kind of faded towards the end. They were a little disappointing at the end, I thought. But good quarterback, pretty mobile. I didn't realize that until I watched them. I kind of just assumed, but pretty good arm, pretty physically talented quarterback. One of the more physically talented quarterbacks I think you'll see. I don't see the most polished, but he's not bad. I don't think he's the most polished, most accurate guy, but he's got those athletic tools, which I think, especially, which we've talked about with our coach friend on this podcast show, that can be a challenge for these leagues. Getting getting consistent line play can be a challenge. So having a quarterback who can be mobile and make plays with his feet is really useful. At any level of football, but especially thing at this. I think Kyle Sloter will be one of the top guys in the league. Definitely has shown he can play in spring league football before, so I don't see why he couldn't do it again. The rest of the roster, not a ton of big names that I recognized, at least. You could see some other spring guys. Kenneth Farrow, Seattle Dragons guy, Demontre Tuggle, excuse me. for University of Ohio. Not a 1,000 yard back. Not a ton of carries, which is nice. Young guy, so fresh. Hopefully, hopefully not a ton of injury concerns. These wide receivers, not a ton of experience you can see with any of them. Jordan Smallwood, I do remember from the XFL in 2020. Had some good plays, I feel like. Not a ton of size, not a ton of names, decent speed on the outside. Sale, Kanea, and Alex Ellis. Some experience there, which I do like from Alex Ellis. I think having some bets on a team is nice to mix it up. I know these drafts to be cut down, so maybe some of these guys won't be on, but from what I can tell, I like these guys. Looking at their line, you can see their starters have some other football experience, which I do appreciate. You could see all the first five offensive linemen who are probably going to be the starters, seemingly. Good experience there. Not a lot of depth. I presume most of those guys will make it. You figure one or two of those tackles is going to make it. At least one or two of those guards. Probably two of the tackles, somewhere between five other backup linemen, and none of those guys have a lot of experience, which I don't love. And they're not the youngest. They're not old, but they're not the youngest. At center into camp, Brian Folkharts. I'm not sure if he's going to make the team. I would think he might, but it's not a ton of experience, but makes me happy that they have Kyle Sloter on the team. D-line, again, not a ton of names, a lot of practice squad, maybe some cups of coffee in the NFL, but no huge names. One of the most interesting guys is Willie Taylor. He's 24 years old, came out of Eastern Kentucky. I thought that there was only one draft eligible guy this year, but he's the second, which I didn't realize he was in the league. So what that means is he just finished his last season of college. You can see, we'll pull up his stats in the past year. He played earlier on, but he went to Washington State, so they only have his last year of college stats. But so he just finished playing in the fall, so he's still eligible to be drafted in the NFL this coming spring. You could see, I'm not sure where the stats move like that, but not great college stats, not a crazy college resume. I think it's a great move for the guys like this to go to the XFL first, quite frankly. Maybe he doesn't get drafted, but it gives him some extra film, playing in Eastern Kentucky, not a ton of eyes on you. And instead of just kind of waiting around, maybe doing a pro day, maybe some of that stuff, you get to play real football, get some more tape, get some more experience. And I think that's a great way to get eyes on you, build your resume, maybe a couple practice squad, maybe helps get a camp invite at the least. So that's something to watch. There's another one. He's a quarterback. I'm blanking on his name, but he's on the Seattle Sea Dragons. So we'll talk about him in another video coming out. Again, the biggest name I recognize, my Eagles friends will like, is Crevon LeBlanc. I believe he won a Super Bowl with the Eagles. I could be mistaken about that. Now I have to check. Sorry. It's Monday recording this. So I'm a little bit out of it, but I believe he won a Super Bowl with the Eagles. Maybe not. Nope. I was wrong. He was on the team after. Yep. The year after. But tough guy, Philly fan favorite for a lot of us. And again, pretty good experience in the secondary, which I like. All these guys obviously won't be on the team. Most of them won't be, but nice to have some experience in this part. They got some decent experience in linebacker, and defense is not terribly experienced. The O-line makes me nervous, but decent enough experience at D-line. Decent experience in the secondary, guys who I recognize names. Bryce Watts, I believe, has gotten some time at different points. And Will Hill, who I liked. Devontae Bosby, I liked as well. In terms of specialists, biggest name, Marquette King, formerly the St. Louis Battlehawks, also played for the Raiders, was second team all pro, I believe. Pretty like a pretty high profile punter. The fact that I know his name with no research tells you something. But good punting again. I think that matters a lot in a league like this, an experienced guy who's proven he can play at that level, I think is super useful. Flipping the field and things like that, especially these offenses, having a ton of time to come together, if you can put your defense in favorable positions, I think that matters a ton. So that's my review of the St. Louis Battlehawks. Again, we'll do final predictions. Just eyeballing their roster. I forget where I had Kyle Sloter ranked in my quarterback rankings. I think he was top 4, top 5, probably should be. With Bob Stoops as his coach, I think that's a really good fit. Dynamic offensive coach with a dynamic offensive player. The weapons, I think Kyle Sloter can make the best of any weapons. The offensive line makes me a little nervous, but I think you have a top probably 3 quarterback off the top of my head, forgetting my rankings, but I put him near the top of the league in quarterback play with an experienced offensive minded head coach. I think at the very least they'll be very fun. I think Kyle Sloter, having played the full year last year in spring football, will help him. I think my guess is they're top 14, probably going to the playoffs. Again, I have to think about where exactly I'd seed them and all that, but I think they're definitely a playoff team. I think they'll be fun to watch. Definitely going to be must tune in TV. So that's my review of the Arlington Renegades. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know down below if there's anything you think disagree with me on or anything else you want to talk about with any of these other teams. And thanks for watching.